One of the most common failure points of the clutch hydraulic system is the fingers or tabs inside the master cylinder, indicated by the arrow here. When the tabs fail, the master cylinder push rod becomes loose and not securely mounted as seen here. A new hydraulic assembly will come with a fluid reservoir, a slave cylinder, a master cylinder, a push rod, and a safety switch. In order to install the assembly, first remove the safety switch from the master cylinder push rod, and then remove the OEM harness from the safety switch. Next up is to remove the master cylinder and the fluid reservoir. The fluid reservoir is only held on by a couple of plastic rivets that come out easily. When removing the reservoir, pay close attention to how the fluid line is routed. When removing the master cylinder, turn it towards the fender to break it loose. Locate the slave cylinder and note the fluid line routing. The slave cylinder is removed the same way the master cylinder is. Rotate it toward the fender and it will come loose. It is very likely that the plastic clips will still be on the slave cylinder as you remove it. If they are, do what you can to get them out. In order to remove the hydraulic assembly, first feed the master cylinder down the firewall toward the slave cylinder, followed by the fluid reservoir. Now that the old hydraulic assembly has been removed from the vehicle, feed the slave cylinder down the firewall, following the same routing, and down to the transmission. Ensure the plastic clips on the slave cylinder remain intact. They will go into the transmission case and will break free during the first clutch pedal push. After routing everything properly, I installed the slave cylinder first. It is keyed and needs to be turned 45 degrees toward the fender, then locked by being turned towards the engine. Pre-position and install the master cylinder and fluid reservoir. Again, the master is keyed as well and should be turned 45 degrees to the fender, then locked by turning it toward the engine. Now that the slave cylinder, master cylinder, and reservoir are installed, it is time to connect the push rod and the safety switch. Start by feeding the push rod into the master cylinder and pass the retaining pins if you like. If not, bring the clutch pedal down and secure the push rod to the pivot mount. At that point, you can push the push rod past the retaining pins. Finish up by installing the safety switch and connecting it to the harness. Pay attention to the safety switch as the access port should face down, as it is notched and will fit against the master cylinder nicely. After everything is installed, the very first time you push on the clutch pedal, you will hear a popping noise. That is the plastic clips popping off of the slave cylinder, and is completely normal. Double check your work and clean up your tools, and you're done. This was quite an easy repair job to complete, but seeing as it was my first time doing the job, I would have liked to seen a video or more pictures of how to get it done. I hope this video helps you install your clutch hydraulic assembly on your ZF6 truck.